These Hot Idiots is a podcast featuring our hosts, two full-grown adult men. Together, they watch teen drama and young adult-oriented television shows one episode at a time. These Hot Idiots is a comedy podcast and isn't meant to be taken as real criticism. This podcast uses adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
So, how did we get here?
How did we get to doing Divergent? Just crash in the early parts of season 3 of Vampire Diaries? Well, a couple of things.
Like, how did we decide? Like, this isn't a mid-season break or anything, so I don't. What got you to the conclusion that we need to do this?
Well, it was a couple of things.
I have jokingly suggested it, and then you were telling me to you probably have a copy, and then I had to go fucking scrounge and grab a copy of Divergent.
Well, it was a couple of reasons. One was the fact that we had to deal with the difficult fact that the Vampire Diaries is good.
Yeah, we're gonna kill our fucking. I forgot the term. Like we're gonna kill our dearly.
Kill our creation.
Kill our
darling.
Kill our creation. No, kill our darling, and just say that like, I don't know if we've got the sauce for Vampire Diaries. Like from what we've watched of it so far this season, because it just sort of
good.
Like, what do you say about a show that's been like a constant B to B plus? Like, right?
Like it's not like we're like
that gif of Triple H that I liked is still playing. Hold on, I gotta stop it. I posted a link of when Triple H got fat in 2004.
And it's just looping and it's distracting him.
It's distracting me.
Like, we're not those kinds of people that fry super hard on negativity, but like...
Well, I mean, if we wanted to be as negative as possible, we would make like an 8-hour video podcast and like barely even engage with the show and just kind of like riff off the fact that we hate things with women in them. Like, that's what we could have, that's what we could have done, but
we're not that.
We actually believe in media criticism, and part of media criticism is like understanding when something is bad or if something's fine.
Yeah, and the Vampire Diaries, like, apparently it does like dip in the later seasons, but that's the thing. We were in the early stuff. It was good, and we were actually kind of enjoying it as a show, but like
I kind of wanted to watch it, just like watch it.
Right, and that's difficult to do when you're also trying to do like be on the content train.
And we've been having a little bit of trouble with I would say, well, I don't want to blame anybody.
Getting time and stuff.
Well, getting time and also traction. It seems like it's really hard to get traction when you're like 3 seasons deep in a show, and I don't know how often it's talked about anymore. Like, compare that to fucking, I don't know, like, the Supernatural fandom is an anomaly in terms of just, like, how...
They're still going somehow.
How passionate they are about it. And then, like, compare that by comparison to, like, Super Who-Luck, like...
Well, yeah.
And, like, fucking... And, like, compare that to... Shit, compare that to Sherlock, where it was mostly cope. Like, it was a lot of people just sort of hoping that, like, that wasn't
Okay, let's be fair. Supernatural was also a ton of cope. They're still trying desperately to argue just how great Destiel was.
And then he was gay and then went to Super Hell.
And not just that, but the recent, like, Tumblr, like, shipping poll where in the finals Destiel lost out to Sulamio from Gundam Witch from Mercury.
I know nothing about Gundam Witch from Mercury.
It's gay. That's the best way.
It's gay robots?
It is lesbians in robots, yes.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
That's
so
cool.
Reason one was we were finding that there was just not a lot of traction for us, and we were just kind of like, damn it, this is good. We were having like a Jay Bauman watching Extra moment of like, we got a problem. The show's good.
Yeah, like Jay Bauman watching Extra, and then just realizing like, I can't really criticize it. I'm too busy like being entertained.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this too much, man. The second reason is we noticed very recently, in fact, just today, the fact that our viewership for the Twilight movies was way more than our
Um,
viewership for the
so
Vampire Diaries
I have
episodes.
a very small YouTube channel, and I was checking my highest viewed videos, and like there's a couple videos from like a couple years ago that had enough time to just sort of like naturally get a moderately high view count. Like it's got
Right.
attention, but it took years to get that attention.
Like Borg Your Copyright is your most popular video,
But that
but
was because
that's like
it was a meme edit.
and that's just a quickie little meme thing, you know? People would just kind of find it naturally.
Especially because you don't really come to a YouTube channel for uh, like if I made a meme, you're going to come to look at that meme. You're not going to come to look at what I offer because that's different.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to find like a wrestling meme, you don't care what channel made it. You don't care that like this guy made it. No, you care that you have the meme.
Yeah.
You know, you want the meme of fucking Batista yelling, "Give me what I want," and then Triple H going, "No."
That's not what I want.
But like
But
you don't come to the YouTube channel specifically, but the thing that confused me was I looked at the Twilight review, which was relatively recent, like within a year or so.
yeah.
Like maybe around last year. It's got a
1
lot
year
of
ago, yeah.
it's got engagement. Like
It's got 2.6 thousand views.
people are watching
And,
it long enough for it to be something that is watched.
and pretty much everyone except for the Eclipse review, which only has like 276. But like Breaking Dawn Part 1 has 4.2 thousand. Breaking Dawn Part 2 has 1.7.
It's weird Eclipse has lower than Breaking Dawn.
Eclipse has lower, and that's when you only consider the fact that we had to do it in 2 parts because something like happened. I think I just ended up
I think my audio broke.
your audio broke, and then I ended up having to like
Oh, now I remember. My I was having problems with my computer crashing, and you went to
yeah
bed while I was trying to get it fixed. And I
because it was
didn't know
getting real late.
I didn't know if I could get you back. So I just
Yeah.
said my thoughts, and I just sort of like mumbled through half an hour,
Mm.
and I
But
called
like,
it Taylor's
but like,
version.
yeah, most of the Twilight movies are in the thousands, and like you comparatively look at like our episodes of the Vampire Diaries, and you're lucky if those get into the hundreds.
I mean, I appreciate it. That's
I
not the
appreciate that's not to say we're like only out for the views. It's just looking at what we're doing in comparison.
well. And the thing is, if we're doing two movie reviews per season, that's only 4 reviews per year of movies.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, like, what would happen if we just reviewed more movies?
Yeah, what if we just did movie reviews, you know?
Like, we'll still do Vampire Diaries, but I feel like we might just like slip movies in more often. Maybe like
Hmm.
every month we'll do one movie, or like every other month maybe.
Who knows?
But it depends. And for some reason, I decided that I will download fucking Divergent,
But the
based
reason
on the
number
novel
three-
by Veronica Roth.
reason number 3 was also because I think you were just morbidly fascinated by the Divergent movies.
Well, okay, so there was a really big young adult craze that happened in the book of
like late 2000s,
in the
early
book
2010s, yeah.
in the bookosphere. That craze happened around the mid late 2000s,
Yeah.
and then Twilight hit, and then Hunger Games hit, like back to back.
And young adult blew the fuck up.
And young adult
Mhm.
blew the fuck up. But the weird part was, some of them were better than others. And I think
Like
the thing
Hunger
that
Games was usually
the thing that interested me the most about Divergent is its world building is so weak that I just had to figure out how are the gaps filled in this setting. All I know from Divergent is back when we used to watch Cinema Sins. And Cinema
Yeah.
Sins doesn't tell you fucking anything about this movie he's watching.
Yeah, no.
Because it's all quips and like, oh, Natalie Portman, ooh, ding, you know,
No lap dance ding.
no lap dance ding. And it's like, that's not media criticism. And also, I
Yeah.
just want to know, what the fuck is Divergent? No,
So
I
I said, yeah, let's find Divergent, but because we couldn't find it on any of the streaming services we have.
make it more available.
It was on Amazon. It was on like Amazon Prime or Apple TV or something.
Hey, okay, so I am just going to state my opinion right here. I do believe in supporting creators and paying them. I'm not going to pay Jeff Bezos.
He has enough money.
He has enough money. If you want to support this, go buy Veronica Roth's book, even though I'm pretty sure I probably wouldn't like it.
Who knows? Maybe it's better than the movie. Maybe it actually explains some shit.
Here's a fun
because
fact.
This movie
She,
doesn't.
Veronica Roth, wrote Divergent right after she got out of college, but it was from the perspective of the male lead, and then she kind of got burned out, and she sat on it for a while, and then switched it to how it's currently written.
Interesting.
I guess that's an interesting idea, like switching your POV character.
Yeah, especially if you're not feeling the current POV you're following.
If you're not feeling the sauce,
yeah,
I can respect that. It's just it feels I think the problem is the first thing that there are two first things that like people consuming media have to deal with: the main character and the world.
Yes.
And we barely know anything about either.
Oh yeah.
Welcome to These Hot Idiots, by the way. I'm Ashe.
Welcome to These Hot Idiots. That's Ashe. I'm Mega.
I couldn't think of a gag.
We kind of just went into it. We just kind of rolled with it.
Well, because I want this to be a discussion about why we're doing this and why we're watching this random ass movie on a Monday.
To be fair, we had always threatened that this was coming, but we thought it was going to be a halfway thing.
I didn't think we'd commit to it.
Yeah.
I didn't even think we'd make it past season 1.
Well, before we continue onward towards the movie, we do want to at least address the tragic passing of L.J. Smith, writer of the original
the
Vampire
author
Diaries
of
book.
the OG Vampire Diaries books. She worked very hard, and she worked with a publisher that was not fair to her at all.
Dropped her just because she wouldn't ship Elena and Stefan.
Dropped her because of a fucking executive mandate, and then she lost the rights to her own books and had to write fucking fan fiction while under failing health. And I wouldn't wish that on fucking anybody. And
no,
if there's a way to support LJ Smith's family, I would 100% recommend you do that.
Please do.
Ignore the fact I laugh sometimes.
We'll shout it out.
Ignore the fact I laugh sometimes. That's just how I deal with being awkward.
He's fine. He's just having a little bit of awkwardness, and it's just honestly, like from what I remember reading her.
We're gonna be fucking real here. Yeah, like. Also, try that weird point and click game.
And also, yeah, try out the point and click adventure game if you can find it. And also, yeah, genuinely try to track down.
Because I don't know.
Any way you can.
LJ Smith was a very private person, so I don't know if she has like a family or like.
She does. She did. Or I think her kids were running her site at the time.
Yeah, or if she has any connections to public figures, but just like. No matter what they did to your show or to your book to make it a show, it's just like she got in way earlier than anyone else. She was making this shit in the 90s.
Yeah.
So you got to commend her for like coming up with an idea like this before anyone else even thought of it. Like a fucking a 3-ray romance with vampires. That's actually pretty unique if you think about it.
Oh yeah. Where it's just 2 vampires, yeah, too, and it's not a vampire and a werewolf.
Yeah, but it's just like straight up, it sucks. It sucks. It sucks. She passed, like in general.
Oh yeah,
and I don't know why we're bringing it up like 15 minutes into a Divergent review.
I was gonna bring it up when we watch the next episode, but I felt like fuck it, we gotta bring it up at whatever time we're recording because it'll before the moment passes.
Yeah. Well,
And be sure to find and read and like any of the Vampire Diaries books that she wrote,
she wrote, not the fucking ghostwriters.
not the Ghostwriters afterwards, or stuff like her Secret Circle or Forbidden Game or Dark Visions books. Just whatever you can find.
Help a family out. I think that's nice
Help the
of you.
family out. All right. With
Feel-
that all set.
I feel bad I pirated them. Like back.
To be fair, that would have gone into the hands of the publisher. That
True.
money would have gone to the publisher. So
Yeah, like I think she had it set up that like you couldn't even purchase books from her. You just had to give her money, and then she would like send you the manuscript she wrote that like they rejected. That were technically the sequels, but she had no rights to them.
I wonder if that's still up.
Publishers are great. Don't you love publishers? They're so good at
Don't you just love them?
Maintaining IPs. They're so.
Yeah, so great, right? WV.
All
right,
I feel like we're in a copyright hellscape in terms of like.
Yes.
It's really hard to. Media preservation is under attack, and it feels like there's not much we can do about it. Like all these shows are getting split up amongst like robber baron companies.
Or they're getting dropped from the streaming services and just sent into the ether.
Like when they fucking dropped all the Looney Tunes off of Max. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Fuck you, David Zaslav. Like, fuck off.
Fuck him. You ruined Uzumaki as well.
Yeah, you decided, hey, you know what Uzumaki needs? No money.
No money.
Even though
no
this
money
is
no
like
time.
beloved Junji Ito manga, which is like 6 episodes. Like, you could afford that.
You could afford that. All right.
So
I think let's get on into Divergent.
I have to sneeze.
All right.
All right, sneezing over. Where is my notes?
Divergent, released in 2014, like you said, based on a book by Veronica Roth, directed by Neil Berger. Who,
what publishing studio like got a hold of this?
Summit Entertainment.
I feel like they were just really desperate to try to break into the kind of burgeoning female-oriented young adult novel adaptations.
See, here's the thing about Summit Entertainment. You know what else they had published or produced like beforehand?
What?
Twilight.
Oh, they wanted to keep it. They wanted to keep the success train going.
They wanted another gravy train.
Another gravy train. Fucking Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart just like made an exit, and they were like, "Hey, we gotta make money."
Breaking Dawn Part 2 was done, so they needed a new money hole. They needed a new money sink.
They needed a new money gun for all their money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I get a lot of this casting choice.
Yeah, now it starts to make sense.
So our main character is.
I was gonna bring up like Neil Berger's filmography, but it's honestly not that interesting.
No, let's do it.
Oh wait. Oh, he did that movie Voyagers.
He did Voyager?
Yeah, he did Voyagers.
What's Voyagers?
It was the sci-fi movie with Ty Sheridan and Lily Rose Depp, where I think they were in like a ship. Oh no, I'm thinking of Passengers. This might actually be a decent one.
Delicious Neil Burgers.
Voyagers bombed.
I sure hope he didn't get canceled.
No, he seems to be doing perfectly fine.
He's working on Inheritance, which is a spy thriller. Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Honestly, he does not have like a lot of like big like.
And he's doing a thing with George Clooney, so he's doing fine.
He's doing all right. Okay.
I would say in terms of like directing as an objective thing, I guess it's fine. There aren't that many weird shots or ADR that I noticed.
The biggest problem with this movie is the color grading, because I feel like we've talked about it with the Twilight movies. This was the era where everything was blue or orange.
Blue or orange, and the blacks are crushed, because if it's dark, you can't see shit.
Oh. Terrible, terrible time.
So,
But yeah, we're starting off in Chicago in a far off future.
A far off future Chicago, there's a wheat field, and there's people working the wheat field, and then it cuts over the horizon to Chicago, and it's like surrounded by like scaffolding, I guess, in like a big circle.
They got kind of like it's kind of fenced off.
They never
Like
tell
we
us.
don't know.
They never tell us
Yeah.
why.
Yeah, we don't know why society collapsed at some point and then had to be restructured in the way it is.
I don't know if they develop on that in the book, or they decided, fuck it, cut it for time, or what.
Yeah, this feels like a movie that's lacking like exposition narration from the main character.
Well, the thing about like YA settings is at some point you do kind of have to clue people in on what's different about this world. I remember there was a series of there was like a dystopia series of books where like I think it was called like Unraveled, where like children can like donate their kid to get their organs harvested or something. But
yeah, parents can donate their kids, yeah.
Yeah, but like they kind of explain how it came to be like that. But in this, we get our soundtrack by Junkie XL, and also Hans Zimmer like opened the file and looked at it, so he gets a credit.
He's listed as the producer of the soundtrack.
I guess he just looked at the mix. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, he's it was I guess he was the executive producer on the score and was just kind of overlooking it for his protege Junkie XL.
I remember Junkie XL from specifically Need for Speed Underground 2.
What was his thing in Need for Speed Underground 2? Was it just a song?
He did the interstitial race music for like when they didn't want to play like fucking like new metal or hip hop. It was just like the music that would play during like a drift race or like during a drag race, that kind of thing.
Oh my god, I saw his name and I kept thinking he is because of that remix of A Little Less Conversation.
Oh yeah,
That's
he
the
did
same
do
guy.
that. Wow, I just looked at a picture of Junkie XL, and he sure looks like he's a guy who plays cricket.
Yes.
Oh, he's Dutch.
He's Dutch. This is a Dutch-looking man.
He's
done a lot of scores.
Netherlands.
He's done a lot of scores, dude.
Yeah.
I guess at some point he just got into fucking score work, I guess.
Yeah, good for him. The soundtrack was there.
It was very good background music.
And we get our main character, Beatrice Pryor, played by Shailene Woodley. I think that's how you say it.
I've heard Shailene, but
maybe
Shailene would, yeah. Who's been mainly she's known for The Fault in Our Stars. This and The Fault in Our Stars. So,
oh, she was in that movie. Okay.
Yeah. She was also going to be in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but they cut her scenes out,
also,
and she was going to be Mary Jane Watson.
She's an activist, which is pretty sick.
Hell yeah. And as far as like big movies, nothing afterwards.
She's fine. She's fine. She does fine.
Yeah. Solid actor, but I do feel like she did not get to be a big Hollywood like the Hollywood hype machine was shut down for her after these movies.
These movies have a very interesting like tale to them, like in terms of momentum, because I've seen movies start modestly successful and gain momentum. I've never seen a movie start with decent momentum and then fucking hit a wall.
And then hit a wall. Hit a wall so bad that, as you pointed out to me, they were going to do the 2-part split, as all movies did
As all movies, they saw Harry Potter, they saw Twilight, and were like, we can fucking do that. And then
make the final book 2 movies.
And then they fucked it up.
They ended up, the third movie, which was the part 1, bombed so bad that they eventually...
and the director at the time, who isn't Neil Burger, decided to work on a war movie instead, and then they wanted to adapt it into like a 10-part like Netflix episodic series, and then they were quoted saying nobody cared enough for Divergent to get a TV series, and then canceled it. So there is not a part 2 to the final part of the book.
Oh man, this is gonna be fun.
And we're gonna watch them.
Yeah.
We might have to read the last book just to understand why. I don't know.
We might have to read these books at some point. Who knows?
So, in the city shots, there's people walking in big groups, and they're all wearing colored shirts, like they're playing a Civilization, and there's like different teams.
These are different nations of civilization.
Yeah, like like India's there, and so is like the Zulu nation and like Prussia. Abraham Lincoln's gonna talk to you.
This is where we learn of the 5 factions of this new society: abnegation, amity, candor, dauntless, and erudite or erudite. I'm not really sure. They say it erudite.
They say erudite, yeah.
Which I don't know if that's just we're stupid and are wrong, or if they fucked it up.
We found a thesaurus.
But yeah, so these are the 5 factions representing selflessness, kindness, honesty, bravery, and intelligence.
Yeah, amity the peaceful, candor the honest, dauntless the climate stuff, erudite who are smart, and abnegation who were just like I guess like live on little houses on the prairie.
I had them listed as erudite the smart ones, amity the hippies, candor the justice system, dundles the cops, and abnegation the Salvation Army.
God, this is such a long movie.
It is a. I got an actual full page of notes, and a little bit extra of notes. You got like 21, I believe.
I have 22 pages of notes.
22 pages of notes.
So it's mostly observations and like recap to help me remember things.
Right.
So they say that because in this city everything got split off to 5 factions because there was a war in the past. And this was the only solution to keep the peace. But my question is like,
how?
How?
What war happened that caused this?
The smart ones are kind of like like I would say they're kind of like I guess they're lawyers.
The Candor is the intelligence group.
Oh, they're the scientists.
They're
white. Everything wears blue.
Well, Candor is the justice system. They're the ones that are wearing white. I'm sorry, erudite are the smart ones, and they wear blue.
Yeah, and they wear blue. And then there's fucking the farmers.
And here's the thing, amity and I feel like Candor don't even really matter.
Amity and Candor literally do not matter at all in this story. They are a non-factor.
The only Candor we have in this is Zoe Kravitz's character. That's it.
Yeah, and she joined Dauntless, right?
And she joined Dauntless. She signed up for Dauntless.
So, they show the amity work in the fields, and they show like the law people in like the courts. And then they just show the Dauntless who are just running.
They're just doing parkour.
They are doing some light parkour, and like they're climbing on the fucking Chicago L line or some shit. That's all they're doing. They're like jogging. They're like jogging and climbing things.
It's fucking weird.
And it's like, we're so undaunted. And apparently,
so undaunted.
The slur for the group that Beatrice is in are the stiffs, because nothing's stiffer than, I guess, like
helping people.
Yeah, I feel like this is a commentary on the social service system, but I'm not sure what they're trying to say.
I don't know. Yeah, so Beatrice is her family is in abnegation, which are the selfless. They go around and
they wear gray, and they live in cube buildings because expressing yourself is not selfless.
Yeah,
expressing yourself is selfish, of course.
God,
communism. No.
God, I'm getting weird like Ruby flashbacks to like the fucking Ozpin speech in Volume 2 about color and expression and all that shit.
Yeah, but
I don't know why.
I don't know. So her mom's doing up her hair because it's an important day that Beatrice is now her own woman, and she's going to take the big test. I don't know if there's like a specific name for it. It's just a big test.
It's said to be the choosing. They're doing an aptitude test, and then they're going to do the choosing ceremony.
Even though they kind of negate each other.
They really do. Yeah. So basically, once you're 16, you do an aptitude test to see which of the 5 factions you enter. Where you take a serum, you drink some blue, and then they scan your brain.
So, she goes to take the test, which of course is not Andrew Martin, a 6'10"
No,
guy who will slam you.
no, you don't. You don't take it. You don't take a big boot.
You don't take a big boot, and you don't get to try and make out with Stephanie McMahon.
The inaccessibility of this podcast is going through the roof.
Oh yeah, baby, don't even get me started.
Oh, we're gonna go places soon.
There's this one guy. So they're like in a big group because they're testing everybody who's 16. And there's this one guy that like Beatrice looks at in the corner, and he's getting mad about like the abnegation being there because they're nice and like Charity is stupid in his opinion.
And also, apparently, there's been rumors spread around about the leader of abnegation being like a terrible person in some way. I can't remember all the details. I think of just like he had like a illegitimate son.
Something like that. And then we had the question of like, okay, so if this test is so important, who's running it?
Yeah.
And they say that abnegation is running the government right now, which is weird because we don't see them a single fucking time running fucking jack shit.
And also, it just feels weird that it's like, because it's like erudites trying to undermine abnegation to take power, but it's just like, why is it that there's only one ruling faction?
If you are 5 distinct yet equal parties, why is there only one party running everything?
Why is there only one ruling faction and not like a Senate or a parliament or something?
Why is there no parliament or Senate or elections that you could partake in? I know it's dystopian, so it has to be a dictatorship, but it's weird that the people acting like dictators are not the people in power, they're just a random side group.
That want to be the dictators, but they're not, and it's just like, that's the thing. Fascist dystopia doesn't have to make sense.
It doesn't have to make sense,
because
honestly, I would say the counteractiveness of it all is the point. But the alleged good guys,
but that should be Watsonian, not Doyle is. I should not be questioning the logic of this world from the perspective of an out of universe. What was the writer going for here?
I feel like for some reason my brain keeps leaning towards like Christianity and truth to power, but like I don't know.
I don't know what they're going for here. I don't know. I just feel like this is a poorly planned system of government on the part of the writer, and not on the part of it's an intentional thing.
But I don't know. I feel like this is one of those situations where I would just grab somebody and just have a fucking town hall, try to hash this shit out. How's this government
Have someone
work?
look this over.
Have someone look this over and go hey, am I missing something here? But it just sort of seems like they were nah, it's good. We don't need to worry about the framing device. We got a story to tell. We got action. We got romance. And it's yeah, but there's that little bug at the back of your head just being yeah, but everything's kind of stupid.
The world building is fucked.
So, never mind that shit. The Dauntless are here. They're leaning out the side of the train, and then they all roll down a hill because this train doesn't stop. It just keeps moving.
This train always seems to be in constant motion. I don't think we ever see them start or stop the train.
There was a war. They came up with a class system to maintain peace. We find out that you are not allowed to change ever. According to the people, I think it's Janine, I believe. She claims that once you're chosen who you are, you can't ever change ever.
It can't be possible that you are suited for a different faction.
At 16, you have to pick who you are, and that's who you are until you die. And that's why
if you fail at that, we're just fucking...
Something about gender roles and something about, I guess, choosing a career, I guess. But then if it's about choosing a career, why is it styled like high school?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also, if you fail at your like assigned faction, then we're just gonna make you homeless. You don't even get to go back to your parents.
I feel okay. So they get ready for the test. Beatrice meets up with this girl with tattoos. She's a dauntless. I forgot her name. It's like Tommy or something, or Tony or something.
Tori.
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 Okay. And I feel like there was more nuance in a Tickle.com personality quiz. Now, for people who aren't old like I am, Tickle.com.
I'll be honest, I've never heard of Tickle.com.
Tickle.com was a website you would go to that was full of hundreds of personality quizzes like, what song are you? What color is your aura? What?
Oh, so it was the BuzzFeed of the time.
What color was your aura? What kind of personality do you have? By the way, my song was apparently Dancing Queen by ABBA. And my aura color is blue.
I wonder if it's
No,
still,
actually, no, it was red and
dead.
it was red and purple. That was my aura.
Yeah. It was red and purple. But yeah, so it was the BuzzFeed of the time.
Yeah, personality quizzes was kind of the listicles of the early 2000s, if that makes sense. Because listicles weren't a thing yet, and then they became a thing, and then the AI started making them, and now we're in hell. Just saying.
Right. We have mentioned how we are in hell twice, so it's a pretty good These Hot Idiots episode for you.
So she sits she sits in this chair with like little diodes next to it, and Tori gives her blue, just a cup of blue.
Just drink your blue and then get in the brain scan chair.
Now, to reassure her, Tori says that there's a 95% chance that the family you're born in is where you end up. So she sits in the chair, and they link the diodes up to her brain, and they begin the test. And suddenly, Tori's gone, and Beatrice is in a room full of mirrors. And then she turns around and sees, like, there's a couple of chalices. There's, like, hundreds of reflections of her, like you're in a bathroom with two mirrors on both sides. And you're like, oh, infinite me.
And then she's got, like, bowls where one's got a knife and one's got a steak. And Tori's telling her, you gotta choose.
One's got meat, and Tori's like, you gotta choose meat or steak. And then she
Meat or knife.
And then she walks towards one, and then they disappear, and then just a doggy shows up.
There's a little guy. They tried to make this dog look menacing, but if you look into his eyes.
There was a doggy, and then there was like a 10-year-old Beatrice, and she was like, doggy. And then it cuts to a different dog, and the dog's like, you ever see those videos of like just a dog making the weird growly face, but he's not really like doing anything?
Yeah, that's the energy. Because we looked in that dog's eyes, and he was just thinking, like, friend?
Because it's like, it's just these empty eyes, and it's like you taught your dog how to smile, and he's like, So I guess like the dog jumps towards her, and then she falls through the floor.
Because she tackles the dog and falls through the floor, and then that's it. The test is done. It definitely does feel like a BuzzFeed personality quiz.
Tori freaks the fuck out when she wakes up, because apparently no one has ever played knifey, steaky doggy like that before.
No, this definitely feels like a BuzzFeed quiz would do better, because you just have a multiple choice questionnaire of like, would you pick the steak or the knife?
It's like the personality test at the start of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. It asks like what would you do? What would you do if you were invited to a party? Oh no,
fucking Pottermore.
You're doing like the Pottermore. What's your Patronus quiz? And then
what's your house?
And then there's like a 20% chance that they send the FBI to kill you.
Like there's a 5% chance. You're either going to Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, Slytherin,
or the FBI is going to kill you.
We're going to send you to Azkaban.
Or we're going to send you to Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
So the thing is, right? It was a test, and a test implies that a choice was made. But what fucking choice did Beatrice make besides steak, dog, floor, dog, tackle dog? But like,
and then it's like,
Tori's freaking out, and she's like, "You are a divergent, and you can't tell anybody."
Like,
no one
you
has ever
cleared
had
for
no one has ever had two personality traits before. I think she was like,
cleared for like abnegation, erudite, and dauntless, and
so,
that means she's a divergent.
so she's smart and she's kind and she's a good girl and
She's smart, kind, and brave.
but
She's smart, selfless, and brave.
not the other two because those are ugly.
But she's not honest or kind.
Yeah, bitch.
Yeah. It's so fucking rough.
Girl different.
Like, it is girl different. There's no love triangle. There's only the one dude, which I guess is a little more refreshing.
So
God, I hope the sequel doesn't bring us a second dude.
Tori tells her, just like, go to your parents and fucking lie.
Just say you got sick during the exam.
But by the way, if you get sick during the exam, like, what are they gonna do?
Probably retake it.
Like, retake it, or you get to go to the choosing without testing. But if you're going to the choosing without testing, what's the point of the testing?
Yeah, because the choosing ceremony is ultimately you choose, even though when like they just fucking log you as like this one passed to, this one registered as erudite, like this one passed for erudite. I don't know, like
I just don't understand how that test could make you divergent. But back at the house, she's prepping dinner. Her brother shows up, asks how the test goes. She makes a very suspicious face. She's apparently a very bad liar.
Which is weird because she didn't get candor, so she should be very capable of dishonesty.
Capable of dishonesty. They talk about how scientists don't like the abnegation people.
Yeah, they don't like abnegation.
Her and her parents have a very poorly lit dinner. We ask why it's not a Senate, even though
that would make the sense.
And then Beatrice confides in her mother and goes, "What if I'm not abnegation?" And she's like, "It's your choice, honey. You can be who you want to be, because it's in
this dystopia
hellscape where you get to pick 5 things and nothing else." By the way, they never really established what each of those 5 things do, because what is abnegation doing besides giving food away?
They're the Salvation Army. That's how I put it.
They're the Salvation Army, but what are their other responsibilities?
What does anyone do outside of these 5 factions?
What faction handles infrastructure, for example? Which ones are running catering businesses or restaurants?
Who's making the trains run all the time?
Who's making the trains run all the time, and why won't they stop?
Yeah, there are so many things missing from this thing because we only see these 5 factions.
I gotta get rid of this evolution gif.
It's so distracting.
I'm distracted by fat Triple H. I'm sorry.
Oh my god. But and there's
her dad is her dad is like, "No matter what, we love you." And then
now
she
we
asks,
get to the choosing ceremony.
"Mom,
which
is
is
the
the
test
part...
about a dog running at me?"
We get to the choosing ceremony, which is basically the part where after getting Robbie on the "which victorious character are you" quiz, you still say you got Andre.
All right, Beatrice, which victorious character were you? I'm Jade. I'm Jade. I'm Jade. I swear I'm Jade.
She totally got Trina.
She got Trina, and she didn't want to admit it.
So the choosing ceremony is
it's like a big graduation ceremony, and there's crowds of people, and they're all color separated, so all the erudites are together, all the people are together.
Yeah, everyone's in their little group.
There are 5 bowls with elements, and one's full of sand, one's full of water.
One's rocks, one's water, one is a bunch of coals. I'm genuinely gonna see, because we didn't get a good long look at what is in all the bowls.
What kind of bender are you in the Avatar universe?
It really is just it's all the different elements. Because it's wow, TV Tropes, you're really helping me here.
So
understand any of this.
We get Janine, the erudite leader, and she's making a big speech about how this choice is important, but you can also be whoever you want. But the class system is why society still works. And I'm just like, do you get a job for like succeeding in the class choice thing? Uh,
Do Dauntless get to act? Is there any sort of like entertainment industry left?
is
I mean,
there
I
an
know we're in the
entertainment
post-apocalypse,
industry
but
or like agriculture, or can you pick what kind of like cop you are?
apparently Amity is the agricultural section. Are they just all the food production
Are they
for
all the food
everyone?
production? Because like, what happens if they went on strike? You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know. So the way this works is you take a knife and you slice your palm and then you drip it into the bowl of your choice. and
The
we
bowl of your element.
and I'm just like, does everyone get a knife?
Yeah, like, is this, like, how many knives have you got, or are we just gonna get a bunch of, like, candors and erudites with hep?
Oh, we got beat bloodborne pathogens or everybody.
Okay. It is Greystone for Abnegation, Water for Erudite, Soil for Amity, Hot Coals for Dauntless, and Glass for Candor.
Why glass?
I don't know.
So we thought Beatrice was gonna just bleed into all of them.
She's gonna cut her forehead and just fucking just gig over the whole thing.
So,
I got all of them.
So she thinks, do I want to be rocks or do I want to be sand? But no, she bleeds into the coals, and her mom's like, "Oh no!" In the
Well,
background,
because also her brother Caleb, he bled into the water.
he bled into the water, and she gets upset about that. And I guess the glass, not the glass.
Yeah, not well. She was the gray stone.
and like everyone's surprised, and then she goes to sit with the Dauntless, and they're like, "Hi, you're still not us." It's just like, what? She just chose to be you.
She chose to join you.
So they celebrate by doing parkour.
Yeah, it's just parkour time again.
They run out, and it's kind of the same shot, and then we cut to Beatrice running by herself, kinda. She climbs onto the train and gets on, but she struggles a little bit.
Yeah, she climbs up the tower, climbs up the L line, and then jumps onto the train that is constantly moving, which is still the weirdest thing. Of like,
by the way, it's constantly moving, and then everyone jumps off onto a building, and this building, it just so happens to be where their base was, which everyone knew, and no one like got led to it.
No one was given instructions. You got to jump off at this point. This is also where we meet Christina, played by Zoe Kravitz, and when
yes,
Ash...
that Kravitz.
Yes, that was the thing. Ash did not know that, so he just started doing
American
Getaway.
Woman. I did American Woman.
Oh, you did American Woman.
It's a cover, but he still did it.
You were doing American Woman by Lenny Kravitz, and I was like, oh yeah, no, that's correct. That is that's her dad.
Did you know a rap version of Fly, like Fly Away, became like a top radio hit last year?
Huh.
Yeah, I know. I think it was with like fucking Future or something.
That's just very weird.
So, hold on,
I'm looking that up while we roll with this.
Okay, let's see. Lenny Kravitz. There was a.
He'd probably be a featured artist on it, right?
You'll see Sarika. Oh, he was with Quavo. He did it with.
Oh, it's Quavo. Okay.
He made a version with Quavo from Migos before, one of the Migos passed away. Rip Takeoff.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to them.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to him much, but it sucks. Takeoff died. So they take turns jumping into a hole, and Beatrice decides, I'm gonna make a statement, and I'm gonna go first. And she jumps into the hole and lands in a big fuck off net.
There's a big stupid net. And you're supposed to do that without knowing the net's there, but I can't. I just imagine some asshole be like,
Eric,
"Hey, there's a net."
We meet Eric, played by Jai Courtney. He's got earrings, he's got ear gauges, and he's got the little fashy haircut that people wore back then.
Terrible haircut.
Like a little ice cream, like a little ice cream scoop hair that people get. Corey Graves also had that hair, so I kept calling him Corey Graves.
Yes. Not Corey Graves.
We made jokes about jumping into a pit of sharks like Total Drama Island.
Gotta jump into the pit of sharks.
Also,
Or jump in the circle.
how do they know when she's off the net? Because another guy could have just jumped and landed on her while she was like trying to catch her breath. Veronica! So, I guess no one's fat in Divergent World because you got to do this to be a Dauntless.
Yeah, you gotta do a lot of like parkour and shit, and do big jumps and run fast.
And
Like,
then, and then Chris is like, "Your name doesn't matter anymore. You can rename yourself if you want." So Beatrice
What's
goes
his
by
name?
Triss.
Chris. Instead of B, his name was Eric.
Eric. Yeah, his name's Eric, played by Jai Courtney.
Yeah, Gordy. I don't know where we got Chris from.
And then
Oh, Chris is Christina's new name.
yeah. And then we meet number 4, who was once a member of the Kids Next Door. He is he is played by he is our male lead, and he is played by there's his name.
Theo James.
He's played by Theo James. Yes.
Not much on his filmography either.
But
He was
the
in
only
an
thing
Underworld movie before.
But the only thing I could say is he is 30, and you can tell he's 30.
He looks it.
Because the actress for Beatrice is 23, but she passes for like a young teen.
She can believably. You could buy her being 16. You
But like,
can't buy
you take
him
one
being,
look
like,
at his hairline, and you realize he's got a widow's peak, and like he's combed down the front to cover the fact that he's like receding a bit. Which
he's like, yeah, this man
Which, by the
does
way,
not have the hairline.
goes away in 2025. I don't know if he got like minoxidil or like hair treatment or something, but yeah,
he got hair plugs.
he's slowly He's slowly transforming into Jeff Goldblum. He's halfway
Really?
there. So the thing about Dauntless is it is about bravery, and to be brave, you have to not question authority ever.
Yeah, I think it was Christina made fun of him having the name 4.
Yeah, because it's like the number 4, like the number 4.
The number 4.
4, like the number.
Was there what happened to 1 and 3? And he's just like, shut up.
Shut up, bitch.
Okay.
It's like, okay, and it's like accepting authority is very dauntless of you.
But yeah, he says like I think it might have been Eric who did it, but it was just like when you're in here, you shut your mouth, you listen to us, and it's just like, yeah, this is dauntless. This is being buckling to authority.
Nothing says dauntless like doing everything authority says you to do, and you don't question it, and you never go your own way or make your own decisions.
This was where I would have probably, like, if I were writing this, I would have had like Christina kind of goes okay, and then Eric or 4 or whoever it was kind of goes like, and you lost points there.
Well, I think they were trying
to.
I think they were trying to play into the fact he's kind of fashy, but the thing is, like, I feel like you could do that in more subtle ways, or have another character who, because we don't know why Eric is the fucking. There's this black guy, and he runs Dauntless. I don't know his name.
Yeah, that dude's like kind of more the commander.
But I guess Eric's like the deputy, but it's weird because he's kind of in command at the same time.
He's the main guy in command throughout all of it, or he's just running the boot camp.
So they take him down to the pit, which is like a giant quarry with a rock climbing wall. The set work's not bad. I couldn't really tell where the green screen started, so cool, I guess, or how much of it was a set.
I think eventually they start. I've got only on my notes the point where they start burning like their old clothes.
I'm going through my notes. Okay, so they go to a shitty bathroom, and then Triss takes her clothes off weird because she's modest and she's like a farm girl in like a suburban Christian family.
And also she's probably surrounded by a bunch of dudes and doesn't want them seeing anything.
Yeah, but to be fair, there's other women there.
Yeah, I was also joking about the fact that there's a pig in one of the toilets. To get a JoJo's reference in there.
Well, the thing is, like, why are you burning your clothes in a post-apocalyptic society? Couldn't you repurpose that cotton and polyester for other things?
Couldn't you just give that to other abnegations who could probably fit in those clothes?
Yeah, you think they would
They're
send
pretty
her.
loose.
You think they would send her off with like some kind of standard uniform, and her family gets to keep her old clothes or something, right?
Yeah, you think they'd turn him back to the other factions is like because that's just a waste otherwise. Is that why no one can change factions after they've been chosen because they don't want to have to fucking make a
You've
new
burned your clothes.
they don't want to make a new set of fucking clothes.
And then they take her to this giant lunchroom. Like giant,
Massive lunchroom.
massive high school lunchroom. All right, who you sitting with? All right.
Who you sitting with?
So she's eating food and she's kind of picking at it with a fork, and he's like, "What? You've never seen a hamburger before?"
Yeah, Christine's like, "Guys, you never seen hamburger?" And everyone's like, "Oh."
And then this kid
abnegation eats plain food.
this kid Will is like, "Abnegation eats soy and like tofu and girl food, and they don't know what meat
soy
is.
jacks.
They're soy pilled, you know."
Soy pilled.
And then, they keep saying like, "Oh, you're abnegation, and you're this guy, and you're that guy." And Four's like, "We're all dauntless now, you stupid dipshit." And at this point, I wrote in the notes, "God, I don't care."
It's Christina and Al, who are both from Candor, and
Al.
Will's from Area Died. No one from Amity joined us because who the fuck gives a shit about
Who gives
Amity?
a fuck about farmers? That's the
Fuck Amity. They're the Hufflepuffs of this fucking group.
Four Hairs Line is fighting. He's Four states that he doesn't want to be a leader, but then the real leader shows up, and then everyone's banging cups, cups.
Also, at one point, like Triss kind of asks him about what his were you always part of Dauntless, or what was your faction? And he says, "Why do you think you can talk to me?" It's like, you talk to her.
You talk
first,
to her.
You dumbass. The fuck?
The boss expects a lot of running and authority, and to not question authority. B, everyone celebrates, and B gets mosh pitted. Triss, or whatever. I could keep calling her B.
Triss.
I keep calling her.
Because it just sounds better.
They wake up and go to the pit, and they're getting ready for physical and mental training. Did you pick the knife or the steak?
Did you pick the knife or the steak?
What did you do to the dog? And the Eric just states that like losers get cut, and if they're cut, they're fucking castless. They are cast into being like
they're factionless. You're gonna be homeless now. And
you are homeless now. There are no redos because you picked something once, one time. You can't
and failed,
you can't renege on it or try anything else. You are homeless.
you can't choose one of the other four possible options. It's impossible that we could have gotten anything wrong in our testing.
Yeah.
Even though we also had a choosing ceremony.
I was gonna say, what if you're fucking erudite and then you switch to be a farmer and then you can't do it? Like, it's just like, are you just shit out of luck because you just wanted to try something?
Now?
Are you just fucked now? Is that a good way? Is that a good way to run a society?
Because then you just have a washout system where you can't just put them into a new role. Which
I'm pretty sure
would be...
I'm pretty sure fucking like outcasts would be the largest group of people in this group of 5 people in this faction system.
The faction list, because you'd be washing out a bunch of people who failed, and that would just keep perpetuating the system. And also, what happens to factionless like offspring?
And
like
at some point, the factionless will be enough to just overthrow the government. You know that, right?
Right. Right, because the factionless, like, adults will probably fuck and then have children.
The factionless don't even get dialogue, by the way. They're just, like, homeless people.
They're just homeless people that just kind of sit around.
And no one cares about them.
But they're eventually going to have kids, and they're going to build up their numbers, and then they're going to overrun this shit. This is a fucking stupid world.
It's really stupid. And like apparently you can't go back to your family either. It's just like if you don't succeed and you get cut from Dauntless, you are dead to society. You are worthless and you're dead and your life is over.
This is not how this system should work.
So we start with martial arts classes. and we established the really weird elbow fighting stance that everyone has, where they're kind of like
What?
they're about to break dance, but they're also fist fighting.
What in the fuck is this goddamn stance? I'm genuinely like, they stand in a way where like they have both their elbows in front of their chest, like in a crossed, like zigzaggy kind of pattern.
No, they're like
And I
they're like crossing their elbows and their arms over each other, like making
yeah.
an equal sign or something with their fists, but like. And when Triss tries to fist fight in the karate class, she's doing these like awkward hammer punches because she doesn't know what to do. But even the
She's
guy who
attempting the
does
Ogu
know,
hand.
even the guy who does know what to do, just his punches look like shit.
Like, what is this fighting stance? What martial art are you basing this on? It's not Krav Maga. We were trying to figure it out.
Is it
but
BJJ? Is it Krav
I
Maga?
don't.
Is it fucking Aikido? Like, what the fuck is this fighting style? What are its fundamentals? What were the fucking physical trainers at the fucking like at the film studio? What were they telling the actors to do?
What is their martial arts like discipline? I want to know if anyone has this answer for us. Please tell us.
So, the first person who jumped and the last person who jumped, this really disinterested lady, have to karate fight according to Eric, and Triss backs off at first, but she sort of like gets back on after getting heckled, and then she gets her ass kicked.
Yeah.
And then we were just like, why the fuck did you pick Dauntless? If you were,
Why did you pick this?
because you could have picked the other thing you were good at. You could have picked erudite. That would have been interesting, I guess. Like go to a school of the
You
elite.
could have
But you're,
stuck with abnegation with your family.
I don't. And they keep saying that being divergent is a big threat, but like if you don't really do anything to stand out, not really.
Hmm.
Hiding your personality is a thing people have to learn how to do.
We're we have made several. While we were watching, we were making several jokes about the fact that this series is called Divergent and neurodivergency.
Yes, because you are neurodivergent and I have
'Cause I am
ADHD.
Well, that's yeah. I am autistic. He has ADHD, so we are both part of the
Wonder Twins.
neurodivergency. We're part of the neurodivergency factions
The 5 classes.
of
Auti-
neurodivergency.
Autistic, ADHD,
ADHD, like OCD.
OCD.
We'll figure out we got to figure out the other two factions at some point.
The one that
Folks,
no one talks.
in the comments down below.
The one that no one talks about.
Folks, in the comments down below, the 5 factions of neurodivergency.
I gotta look this up. Hold on. Neuro.
Like, what is considered a neurodivergency? Yeah.
Dyslexia. Bipolar. No. Autism. ADHD. Bipolar disorder.
Oh my god, I was right. I was right in guessing OCD. Autism, ADHD,
OCD.
dyslexia, OCD, and how about Tourette syndrome? I don't know.
I was gonna say dyspraxia, maybe, but I don't know.
Or just what's dyspraxia?
Body don't brain good, or brain don't body good. It's a motor thing.
Fuck it, yeah, dyspraxia. You're one of the 5 factions.
Down syndrome, you're cool. We fuck with you.
Like,
or maybe I don't know.
Everyone who isn't one of the first 5 we said, autism, ADHD, OCD, dyslexia, and dyspraxia, you're all factionless.
You're all factionless. Enjoy being homeless. and then hope that there isn't an uprising that overthrows us, because there are way many people we're kicking out than we're keeping.
There's a lot more neurodivergent conditions than just 5, and I feel like I would not be able to take down somebody with sensory processing disorder. I feel like they would still be able to kick my ass.
So, you know what screams post-apocalypse? Giant floating scoreboards.
Yeah, we get this big scoreboard of potential elimination.
They got a
rungs.
cut line, and you got to be above it. And then I was like, is this just worse school?
This is just worse school.
They talk that you can't even transfer to another class if you're Divergent. You can't return to your parents. It is illegal to change classes. So
If
let's
you
go.
wash out here, you're just homeless now, and
Let's
that's
go.
ridiculous.
Let's get tattoos.
Yeah, now everyone's gonna go to get tattoos, and Tori's there.
And it's like, it's very dauntless of you to get your boyfriend's name, your first boyfriend's name, or you're not dauntless. And then you were like, but what if I'm a lesbian? It's like, then it's your girlfriend's name.
uh, Triss runs into Tori, and Tori's kind of playing it off like she doesn't know what like Triss is trying to say to her. But I ran with the idea. So it's like Triss is like, "Hey, do you remember me?" And,
I don't
Tori's just
remember
like,
any of you fucking kids.
"Kid, I do like hundreds of tests a year. I do not have time to process all of you."
As the main character that she is, Triss gets some little birds on her neck and shoulder, while everyone else
Yeah.
gets like the full body fucking tattoos, and she just gets like a little
Yeah.
one because they don't want to make her not
Yeah.
pretty, because nothing isn't pretty like a girl with tattoos that are like big and distracting.
She should have gone the Goldberg tribal.
Goldberg tribal, or like the fucking just like a Batista back tattoo or something.
Or oh god, if she got the sun belly button, that'd be horrible.
The sun belly button.
Wrestling has so many shit tattoos.
Or just get or just get like sleeved out like Randy Orton.
Sleeved out like Randy Orton or CM Punk. Now I'm just thinking of the Rey Mysterio Mexico on the belly as well.
The weird part, put the Mexico on the belly and then straight edge under that.
Mexico straight edge.
So it's really weird. The tattoos are on just big pieces of glass.
Yeah, that's how they show off like what tattoos you can get are like sheets of glass. Like, do they not have paper?
Don't you have paper or like a computer screen or anything like that? This is the future.
Like,
There's computer screens.
Is this a thing tattoo artists do? Tattoo artists, leave a comment down below.
No one has ever changed making a decision, and no one has ever developed as a person. If you started as, well, because like there's this training montage, and the training montage is because Triss sucks. And then like fucking Will or whatever his fucking name is, he's played by the guy who played Reed Richards at that.
That's not Peter. Will's just a completely different guy.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. They all look the same to me. They just look like some.
They look the same, and it threw me off for a while.
Because they're all brunette men who kind of have a chubby face, but like a normal in-shape body.
So yes, Peter, played by Miles Teller, who played Reed Richards in Fan Four Stick.
Fan Four Stick, aka the one where they fucked up Dr. Doom.
The 2015 really bad Fantastic Four movie. For some reason this guy was Reed Richards, even though he's
oh my
way
god,
more like Johnny
he was
Storm.
even younger when he was Reed Richards. Oh my god, Reed Richards is great.
Reed Richards was last year. Or
oh, okay,
was the
so
year after this
and
movie.
then he was Reed Richards. But Reed Richards is graying in his like. If you look at Pedro Pascal in the new Fan 4 movie, he looks like a guy in his 30s or 40s.
He looks like a dude who would go to space. Like,
also, he's Pedro Pascal, so he's handsome. But yeah,
yeah.
I mean, this guy looks fine. It's just he does look like a little shitty kid, is what I'm saying.
He was 28 at this point, probably. So, or probably like 27.
Yeah, probably 27 because they usually film a year before the movie gets edited.
Yeah, so 27, 26, somewhere around that.
So
range.
Triss sucks. She can't punch. She can't kick. She can't shoot a gun. She is at the dead fucking bottom of the post-apocalyptic scoreboard, and she's like punching this punching bag, and 4 watches her, and he notices that her knuckles are all bloody because she's trying to work really hard.
But he's like, your form is terrible. It's like, is no one coaching you at all during these sessions?
And like he teaches her a little bit. She teaches her to square up a little bit on the shoulders and hips, but he doesn't really teach her how to punch.
Yeah, no one's really coaching them how to actually do the fucking thing. Do you guys want people to fail? Do you want them to suck eggs?
Do you want to contribute to the class conflict of the fucking classless like overthrowing your government because
The
there are so many
factionalists
of
are
them.
going to take over, and you're going to have these half-trained dudes probably now teaching factionalists how to fight you.
So Eric comes in and he's like, "All right, guys, let's clear up. We're gonna go listen to Five Finger Death Punch," because he looks like a guy who would listen to Five Finger Death Punch. There's this big lady, like a big lady, and she is beating Christina's ass.
I I wasn't sure. Was the big lady the same one who fought like Triss earlier? Because I feel like unless they
No,
are these different
that was the
characters,
disinterested lady. This lady's a big lady, and she's throwing like Muay Thai knees, and that's why I like her.
she's great.
She's
I wish
great.
I knew who this was because
Didn't get dialogue.
didn't get dialogue. I don't think she has a name,
Hey,
but she was my favorite.
if you're the big lady from Divergent, you're cool. Anyway,
Yeah, we like you.
I like girls who can throw Muay Thai knees. Uh, so they're walking along an unsafe bridge because this place is just full of them, and then Eric just lobs fucking Christina off the bridge.
Christina gives up, which is not allowed to give up in Dauntless.
Just like, I'm getting my
And
ass
then
beat too hard. I give up.
I give it.
So
And
Eric
then Eric
pretends,
just hucks her off a bridge.
and he's like, "You got three choices. You either hang there and I'll forget about what you did, or you could die, or the third
Or
thing,
you can give up.
or you can give up." It's like, uh, there's no
For some
pulling
reason,
yourself.
climbing up is not an option.
Yeah, climbing up's not an option, so she just sort of hangs there, and like the tension is that there's water, and the water's like making her handhold wet. But she just hangs in there, and then she gets back up.
Yeah, she gets pulled back up, and he's
And
like,
it's like,
"Time."
Dauntless never give up.
And also, they don't speak out against authority as
And we
we've
don't
always.
speak out against authority. And then they're
Oh my
like, "We
God.
gotta defend the people," and then we were just like, "Against who?" Everyone's
What are
just
you protecting them from?
everyone's just making passive aggressive comments at each other.
Are you protecting them from the homeless? I don't get it. What is the threat here?
So they're working the walls. That's their next assignment. They're on the walls. They're looking over the farmers, and they're like, "What's out there? What are we defending?" And then I think Eric says, "There's monsters out there."
Somebody says monsters, and I don't think there are. I don't think that's a thing in the series.
I
think that might have been
I've
a
left a
joke.
note saying, "Don't make this setting interesting, please. I beg of you."
Yeah, I think he might have said that as a joke, and it's very disappointing because it's like, are there monsters out there?
Well, they talk about how
Like,
like
that-
the other cities are war torn and don't have the class system that this one does, and that's why they're defending it. But no one's attacking.
Yeah, they're not. There's never a point where they are under attack by anyone. They seem to be just destroying themselves on the inside.
Don't make this setting interesting, please. I beg of you. I don't want fucking cool ass Cloverfield monsters or some shit out there. Like, come on.
Man, could you imagine if they went there, just like at the end?
Like dystopian YA fiction with the fucking plot twist of like, no, there's monsters. Welcome to Attack on Titan, bitch.
Yeah. Oh, it would have been so cool, but nah.
No, just boring.
Yeah.
So they're doing knife throwing practice.
Yeah, we're in the knife throwing thing and just hugging knives. We're wondering if those are the same knives they used in the choosing ceremony.
Yeah, this guy's like, why are we throwing knives? I don't want knives thrown at me.
Well, he gets told to go pick up a knife he had thrown badly and it didn't plan the wall, but like people are still throwing knives.
It's like,
Even
what?
though if you're throwing at a target and you walk over to that target, I don't feel like there's as much of a risk of you getting like hit with a stray.
Well, what if other people suck? And also, if it was a shooting range, I probably wouldn't walk onto the shooting range with other people
I
shooting.
mean, that's true. That's true. You know, but like Eric's like, what are you scared? Like, and then he kind of does like a hazing ritual of like, step out of the step in front of the target, and he's gonna fucking huck knives.
We're gonna
at
huck
the
knives
dude.
at the dude because he questioned him, and then Triss speaks up and she's like, "This is stupid," and then he's like, "Fine, you fucking stand there instead."
And she does, and 4's the one who's got to throw the knives, and he throws 4 knives.
4
Ooh.
knives, and then
And
the
he
last
has to get
night,
a little closer each time.
and then the last one cuts his ear a little bit because he said that Eric was going to make him keep going until he hit her. Until he hit her, so he clipped her ear a little bit, just like when Donald Trump got shot. No,
No, oh, come on.
the Bravery faction, known for not questioning authority.
Yeah, because she loses points for shooting her mouth off.
She loses points for shooting her mouth off and standing in front of throwing knives.
And it's like, okay, fine. So, yeah, it's just so brave to not speak out against authority.
And then, like, 4 chastises her. It's just like, you're supposed to be smart, Triss. And then you fucking replied with, no, I'm supposed to be brave.
We were both thinking, because you also said, no, I'm supposed to be dauntless.
I was supposed to be dauntless.
We're just like, wrong. And this weirdly becomes a thing throughout the rest of the movie as they keep bringing up her smarts, and it's like, yeah, but she's dauntless.
Yeah, but she's dauntless.
Erudite's the smart faction. I know that she
Miles
also
Teller won't shut the fuck
but...
up. I kind of feel like he's just there because abnegation is supposed to be, like, under suspicion by the erudites of, like, harboring, like, Divergent and other shit.
I can't even remember what his faction was to begin with. Peter, he's from Candor.
Okay, he's... Why the fuck are you here, dude?
Yeah, well, you transfer from Candor to Dauntless, but...
Yeah, but 95% of them are supposed to be the ones that are there.
Yeah, there's not a single person amongst...
Was there anyone who was like, no, I'm just like Dauntless to death. I fucking ride or die with Dauntless.
For life.
I'm ride or die with Dauntless, dude.
Yeah, like not a single one of Tristan's
because they even revealed that 4 wasn't fucking Dauntless either. He was abnegation.
Not a single one of these people is Dauntless born, besides maybe Eric, I guess, and I think that's it.
Maybe Eric, but he's a little fashy asshole. So
a little fashy asshole, and I hate him.
So Triss has to fight him, not Eric, the kid, the guy who keeps talking shit.
Peter.
4 suggests that she punch him in the throat, but I was like, kick him in the nards. Kick him in the nards.
Double leg takedown.
Double leg takedown. No one's ready for that.
No one's already. You see the stance? It's perfect for a
and then
double leg takedown. They got their elbows like
this.
They
both get into the double cobra stance with their elbows out.
Come on, Triss, double leg takedown. There's no way. You see where his arms are. He can't possibly defend for that.
She loses. Jai Courtney doesn't care. Reed Richards steps on her face.
And then when she wakes up, it's War Games.
She sees 4 walking away before she passes out, and she wakes up in a bed, and they reveal that Eric cut her. She's cut, and they're getting ready for the War Game.
War Games, which is just capture the flag.
We're going out against Team NXT. I heard they got G-Von Evans. he's bouncy. But the thing is,
yeah, she's cut.
She runs after the train that's going to War Games.
And gets back on.
And Eric doesn't give a fuck.
You'd think, and again, this is once again...
And the music swells, and I imagine this is a very important moment in the book, but this is just kind of stupid.
This is stupid, but you'd think this would be a moment where, again, if Eric was written any better than he is, because they're so set on him being the douchey bad cop Dauntless, that you'd think this moment where she gets on the train despite the fact that she's cut, that she's, like, showing bravery, she's defying, like, this order to that she's gone, that she's washed out. You think he'd be like, that's how we do it in Dauntless.
Something
claps her on the shoulder.
Something like that, but no, they're like capture the flag. Everyone's got fake guns, but they got like little injectors that make it feel like you got shot, but not really.
Neurostim darts, which are like, they make you feel like you got hurt. But it's just a dart.
He just shoots someone as an example.
Just rude.
They pick teams, and Eric's picking guys, and then 4 is the other leader, and he picks Triss, even though everyone thinks she sucks because she got cut. So we go to like an abandoned amusement park, and this was filmed on a place called Navy Pier, which is a tourist attraction in Chicago. So they did film in Chicago.
Okay, they actually filmed in Chicago. This wasn't just Canada again.
Yeah, Canada in place of Chicago.
Like, usually we end up just going to Toronto or something if we want to
Something like
get, like,
that.
certain, like, cities.
Well, if it's lakeside, it's Toronto usually, and if it's like a big city, it's Hollywood.
Mm.
Or California doubling, or Toronto doubling, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, they got these. It's dark, but they got these like glow in the dark flags.
And they got little light up things where, like, one team's red, one team's blue.
And they're arguing about coming up with a plan, and it's weird that none of them are dauntless enough to come up with a plan. But Triss climbs the Ferris wheel while no one's looking because she wants a better like vantage point, and Four comes after her. But it turns out that Four's afraid of heights.
Oh,
Oh, how dauntless!
and I think this soon devolves into an argument over what bravery and courage mean, and I'm still not entirely sure if
I sure wish a
Okay.
vampire could take me to the top of this Ferris wheel.
Yeah, Trish is wanting a vampire boyfriend. Okay, yes, it does seem that bravery and courage are in fact synonyms. I thought
we had
bravery
an
was just a
we had
lack
an
of fear.
argument that fearless and bravery are two different things, but he thought that bravery and courage were two different things because bravery and courage is typically having fear but then acting pretty much out of like ignoring it out of a response.
Right, that it was overcoming one's
It's
fear.
overcoming your fear versus
God
fearlessness.
damn it.
Versus fearlessness, which is not having fear at all. Because
You know what sucks is I just realized, yeah, that is what courage is and bravery. Because I just remembered fucking Zappelli saying, "What is courage? Overcoming your fear,"
Thanks, Zappelli.
and then hitting Sunlight Yellow Overdrive.
Sunlight Yellow Overdrive.
Overdrive.
So at the top of the Ferris wheel, they find the flag. It's kind of in like a little clock tower.
Yeah, they find like a bell tower where the flag is.
And then we
And
kind of get a
they get
we
into
kind of
big
get
old shootout.
a gunfight shootout action sequence, but it's a little too dark.
Yeah, I sure would have loved to have seen this shootout, but no.
They do some flanking. Four takes a hostage. Beatrice takes down that big lady from earlier.
And it's nowhere near as satisfying as we thought it would be, despite.
It would have helped if she had a name or dialogue.
And also if the fight went a little longer than like a couple seconds, and then she drops her.
I don't know. I like some gunfights, but it's just there's not a lot of choreography. Christine gets turned around for a second, and then she gets caught out, but then like Triss saves her. They climb the stairs. They get the flag. I guess it doesn't matter that she got cut earlier. And your reward is a zip line.
They get in this double harness zip line of some kind.
It's a double harness zip. It's a double harness zip line, but you got to ride it Superman style, which raises some questions.
This is not. I've never ziplined in my life.
Well,
I'm an absolute coward. I would not cut it in Dauntless.
So
put me in Amity.
The two ways you zipline, because there is a Crater Lake ziplining near my house, it's a seat. You lean back in the seat, and then you hang on to the thingy so that you could pull the brake. Or you Shawn Michaels style. You grab that bitch and you ride that down like you're in WrestleMania.
Yeah. So this is not how you zip
when you're riding Superman style, the brake's behind you. You have to reach behind your fucking head and grab it.
While your face is heading.
While your face is heading 100 miles an hour through several buildings.
Passed by several buildings, potentially hitting a wall.
There is a wall at the end. There was also some poor cropping because you could really tell that like
there's some green screen.
Triss is on her stomach on a green screen.
Yeah, Shailene Woodley was on a green screen. At one point, she sticks her hand out to almost touch a window. And
touch a window.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
How fast? You know how fast you're going.
That's gotta fucking hurt.
So she struggles to get the brake, and she pulls it, and the brake gets so hot and sparks start flying that like it turns bright red. and that would immediately like destroy the fucking harness.
Also, I guess it doesn't matter because the materials are set for it, but
sending
you think there'd
Beatrice
be a lot of friction going on here.
Sending Beatrice plummeting to her fucking death.
Meanwhile, we're just goofing around. I'm going, Triss of the Dauntless,
Watch
brave
out.
as she can be. Watch out for that tree.
We did watch George of the Jungle recently. It was
Yeah.
better than I thought. And then we watched the sequel, and it was bad.
It was worse than I remembered.
It was worse than he remembered.
Holy shit.
So
Then we cut back after that, and we got one more look at the board, I think.
She
Unless
was
there was more.
someone new is number 4. Triss is number 20.
It was me.
She made the cut. Oh yeah. Andrew was number 4.
Andrew was number 4. I was like, yeah, I got 4. And now Triss is 20. She's in the clear.
So we cut to some place.
They're like kind of like collecting stuff.
Abnegation's
sure.
like loading supplies onto the backs of trucks, and Eddie Kingston was there for some reason.
This Dauntless dude was just like, his face shape is perfectly Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston, who is the Eddie Kingston is a wrestler who I 100% to God believe that he doesn't know that wrestling is fake, and it's probably one of my favorite guys.
He is amazing. If you wanted an idea of how Eddie Kingston looks without looking, he looks like the guy who always starts the fight at the Knicks game.
He looks like a guy who starts the fight at the Knicks game. He looks like a grown-up high school bully from a Disney Channel movie.
He's wonderful.
He is a wonderful man and deserves to be protected. Okay, so there was a comedic wrestling promotion called Chikara, and the gimmick was that everyone was having fun. Except for Eddie Kingston, who just hated everybody.
He just hated everybody.
Especially if your name was Claudio Castagnoli.
He hated you the most.
I hate you. I hate the air that you breathe. I hate that you exist.
He's great.
He's great. I love him. I don't know if he knows wrestling's fake.
We're not sure if he understands this or not.
So, Triss goes around the corner because she saw something, and then her mom's there.
It was like a little flashing mirror light trick.
And her mom's there, and the conversation sort of implies that she was also Divergent at some point. Because, and she says they're hunting Divergence, and that they're scared of Divergence, and I just kept writing, why?
Yes, just huge, all caps, why?
And Abnegation hates Divergence, and I wrote why again, and why are they scared?
Or it's Erudites that hate
Or why
Divergence.
are Erudites scared of Divergence? And then Batman vanishes, and there's a guy who's like, "What you doing back there?" She's like,
I think it was 4, was it? Or was it just some dude?
Her mom, some guy, I don't know.
Okay. I thought it was 4, but I could be wrong.
But they're getting ready for the second test, which is this mental test. I am trying to get through this as fast as I can. I apologize.
It's just, there's a lot, and weirdly nothing at all in this movie.
So, to show how dangerous this test is, the Muay Thai girl that doesn't have a fucking name is being carried out because it was just a traumatizing experience for her.
He's weeping. Yeah, they take you where they're giving you a stimulant to your amygdala. They don't say amygdala, which is the part of the brain that controls fear. They just bring up that it's like it'll stimulate the part of your brain that controls fear.
So they sit her in a chair and they give her meat dreams. And it's going to play out Triss's worst fear. So she's got to play through all of Five Nights at Freddy's. She's outside next to a boat.
Yeah, we're out in the field that started in the opening with the dilapidated boat that's just kind of there. And then just suddenly there kind of a fire started
There's
up.
Like
and
a
then
random
birds.
brush fire, and then there's crows. And then she runs from the crows and steps in mud, and the mud starts sinking, and the crows start hitting her. And then
Quicksand.
she finds some water, and jumps into the water, and the reflection goes, "This isn't real."
Oh no, that's a little later, but this is like she's swimming
No, it
away
happens
and she's
twice. It happens twice.
oh okay, and she's drowning a little bit, and then she comes back out during the drowning.
She comes back out, and then she wakes up, and then Four is like, "How'd you do that? That was 4 times faster than the average.
You
How'd
did
you?
3 minutes,
How did you get past the birds?"
and it's like, wait, so are the birds like a standard? Is there like a ordered
Is there like a
tier list of the
is there like a
fears?
generic fear program, or is it like a personal fear program? Because later on, that gets confusing with when fucking Four is
When
involved.
four's part of it, yeah.
Yeah. So
And,
is it
and
generic fears or not? And it
and
turns
like,
out.
what's after the drowning section? Is it spiders? Why not start with the spiders?
So it turns out she's still in the fear test because they talk, and the guy who they talk about someone who died there in one of the tests.
Was this? Oh, was this part of still
It
part of the
was.
fear test? Oh, I did not catch that at first.
I did. And then she was like, "What's your trick?" And she's like, "I don't know. How does being divergent make you braver than the people who are brave?"
Yeah, how are you better at being brave than the people who are the brave faction just because you're divergent?
She walks into the lunchroom, but it's actually a window, like a glass window she runs to. And then it fills full of water, and then I just started chanting, "David Blaine! David Blaine!"
I'm just doing the fucking Danganronpa execution song.
She taps on the glass with her finger, and her reflection says, "This isn't real," again.
And then she keeps tapping it and it cracks after she was pounding on the glass earlier. She starts tapping like clack, crack, crack, just smashes open.
And then, like, it's the real world, and Four's like, "How did the Dauntless don't break the glass?" And it's like,
Dauntless don't break the glass like that. And I go, what the fuck does that mean?
what the fuck does that mean? Why wouldn't a Dauntless punch the fucking window or something?
What? How do Dauntless break the glass? What do you fucking mean?
Because,
What is this test?
yeah, and her solution later isn't even Dauntless either. It's more crafty than Dauntless.
It's more erudite or something, I'd say.
I
But,
think no one knows what the fuck any of these classes mean.
I don't get it.
Tori says
then-
that she talks to Tori again. They killed her brother because he was a divergent.
And they figured out that he was a divergent during his
And,
test.
and in the final test, they will confront her and kill her, according to them. So she
Well, yeah.
escapes to the erudite place to talk to her brother. Or yeah, I think he's at the erudite place.
Yeah, she goes to the erudite place, which is they have their own cafeteria, or their own mess hall, and it's in a shitty glass dome building.
They're in the Epcot Center.
In the Epcot ball.
We're in
Honestly, no, that's not fair. Spaceship Earth, at least, isn't like full glass windows everywhere. I could not imagine eating in this place. It would probably suck. The sun just everywhere you go.
Just like the fucking the sunglass is like melting everyone's lunch trays because
Right,
because of the lens, it's getting refracted into like a fucking
Right.
death beam.
There's no sun protection for you. You're just in the glass building, and it sucks.
That sucks. Her brother's there, but he's got the fucking he's been like brainwashed by the propaganda about abnegation.
And now he's turning more and more into Charlie Kirk.
Now he's turning slowly into Charlie Kirk. His face is getting smaller and his teeth are getting uglier.
His face is getting smaller by the minute.
She says she's got second thoughts, but and then Janine shows up, I guess, and starts talking about how like the abnegations are breaking the rules, and she tries to escape, and then she punches a guy.
Yeah, and I think she leaves off with her brother after realizing her brother has been brainwashed by erudite's propaganda.
I didn't really go
She starts a fight with she starts a fight with she ends up in a fight with two of the erudites, punches one, then Janine like pulls her aside and talks to her in a room about the fact that abnegation are breaking the rules, they're harboring divergence, but it's like, wouldn't abnegation housing divergence just be acting within their faction?
Isn't helping the
As
homeless
the selfless?
like the selfless thing to do?
Yeah.
Why are we? And we just kept asking, why are we killing the Divergents? If like you think the answer would be that most Divergents end up being like classless, right? They would be outcast.
Because they end up going to one faction, washing out, and we don't even try putting them in another faction because this is stupidest fucking
because
fascism.
my brain fucking thinks that being one thing means you're a specialist, and then being multiple things mean you're not as good at.
You're a generalist.
You're a generalist, but it doesn't mean it means you're not as good, but you can do more things. But they think it's like they got the isekai brain of like, no, she's good at everything. Instead of just like, she's good at she's multifaceted. She's got depth as a person. No, she's special girl. This 16-year-old who doesn't know how anything works is gonna break the system. So
even given the worthless appraiser class, Triss is actually the strongest.
I would like to remind you that sorry, I just want to have an aside about the fucking appraiser class fucking anime.
Yeah.
This is one of the fucking character designs, and I'm just like, oh my fucking god.
Oh, that's horrible.
Look at
Chad. What he is showing me a woman with fucking like double E cups. I'd say
they're bigger than her head, and
they're bigger than her head.
She's got that hentai thing where like all the soft parts of her body are kind of red and shiny looking.
Yeah, and she's got like a fucking body, like a mask over her eyes.
Her name is Kirsch.
And her name is Kirsch. Yeah, if you look up probably just look up Kirsch, Kursh. You could probably find this character. No, that like Kirsch. Oh yeah, Kirsch anime. Because
oh my god.
otherwise you get rodeo queen Jadea Kirsch.
So,
who was probably a wonderful lady.
Janine talks about how human nature is the problem, and we have to be all Spock-brained and shit. And lie, and like abdignation is promoting lying, cheating, and stealing, just like that Eddie Guerrero fella.
But like, you know what would make it easier to promote inequality and peace that you want? Having a Senate where all 5 factions
where all
have
factions
a vote?
are represented equally, and
equal representation,
and have a vote. Democracy. Has anyone considered democracy?
Have you considered that possibility? Then, or just like a parliament of some kind?
A parliament of owls.
What?
So she talks about killing Divergents. She returns to the Dauntless headquarters and then gets kidnapped by some guy. She gets kidnapped by some guys.
She gets grabbed by she gets grabbed by ninjas.
She gets grabbed by ninjas, and then 4 has to save her because they're gonna throw her off the edge.
And it was Al and I think Will.
Al and Will and
or Al and Peter, one of the two.
I wrote the second part of this movie is kind of boring.
Like they're about to throw her off because they were in the red and
they were in the red and that she was cut and then she made a comeback because she's the comeback kid. So they were mad at her.
Yeah, and they wanted to increase their chances of survival because they might get cut during the test, and like Al's probably on the route to fail.
Triss is all jumpy. Someone touches her on the shoulder, and then
it was Al.
It was Al who wanted to apologize, but she screams at him and then starts crying.
And she's like trying to like get the hell away from me, or I'll kill you. Don't come near me again.
Don't come near me again. I'll kill you.
And I don't know. This feels like not the spot where she should be crying. Like, not to say you shouldn't have like an emotional reaction to the guy who tried to kill you, trying to walk up to you and apologize. But I don't know. I feel like this should have been more righteous anger.
Why is it in the lunchroom? Why are you crying?
And also, you're very publicly doing this in the lunchroom.
Aren't we all supposed to be brave?
Also, yeah, aren't you guys supposed to be brave?
So later they find out that he jumped and he died. He committed suicide.
He committed suicide.
He committed suicide. He thought there was going to be a net. There wasn't one.
Oh, we'll talk about that later. Talk about net later.
So he keeps talking about how like she tapped the glass and Dauntless don't tap the glass, and he knows, and 4 knows that she's divergent, so she's gonna practice in 4's fear zone, and my brain is like, how does he know that you can share fear, like fear exercises together, and also you can do them at the same time, and also you can put one diode on your head but not the other, and it still works. How does he know?
Also, he injects himself with the simulation juice, whatever it is.
The simulation
But then
goop.
But then he pulls the injector out and then injects her with the other half. So somebody's definitely got hep now.
Hep.
But also, by and large, I'm fairly certain dosages are supposed to be you give them all the dosage or it doesn't work as well. So how the hell does this even happen?
I mean, Mega Fighter, there's giving one person, there's like a doctor giving someone an anesthesia, and then a doctor giving them half anesthesia, and then giving themselves half anesthesia. It's not going to work, and it's probably going to end really badly.
And also, someone's getting hep.
Someone's getting hep.
Because that is needle sharing. Don't do it.
I don't know how they can fear jump together. It just works because it fucking works, and that's how we need to get the story to continue.
And then we're entering into his fear, starting with they're on a scaffold.
They're on a scaffold, and that's one of his big fears. And
they start hearing natural born killers.
And New Jack's coming, and he's like, Vic Grimes.
Vic Grimes, I'm gonna toss your ass off,
I'm
and you
too. And you too, you little white girl. Another 2 for OJ.
Oh God.
2 down. Many more.
The most inaccessible episode of these hot idiots.
Don't worry, we're not even there yet.
Oh God. Oh no, we are not. You're
so
right.
he explains while they're on the scaffolding that to be dauntless, you have to find a solution to the problem, as opposed to, I don't fucking know.
As opposed to being brave.
As opposed to being brave. Like,
and facing your fear head on.
You think the answer would be you have to jump, right? That's dauntless of you, to jump from this height. But no, the answer is to find a exit. Does tapping on the glass not count as a solution under this context?
No, I guess not. So they get off the scaffold, they crawl into a thing.
And then they're in a vent, and the vent is closing. It's a box. It's a metal box, and it's closing on them.
It's closing on them.
And she's
confinement.
like, we can't just wait. You gotta act first and think later. And of course, acting first means you have to find screws to wedge the closing mechanism shut, because that's brave. No one knows what the fuck brave is.
I don't know if they understand what dauntless means at this point.
Dauntless is not questioning authority and also putting screws into mechanisms to stop them.
And that's how they fix confinement. And then
they gotta shoot a woman.
Yeah, there's like shooting an innocent woman, and then
because you gotta follow orders. You gotta follow orders.
Following orders.
4 can only do it if he's looking away and closing his eyes. And there's this shot that replaces her with Triss, and then back to the innocent woman.
And again, being dauntless means you unquestioningly follow orders entirely and never stand up for yourself or what you believe in.
Yeah, don't be an individual. That's dauntless.
Fuck's sake.
Don't look at his hairline.
And don't look at this man's hairline. He's totally still a teenager.
So we reveal why his name is 4, because he has 4 fears. And the 4th fear is 5 of his dad beating him with a belt.
So we finally face down his 4th fear, which is meant to be that 4 was a victim of child abuse by his father, Marcus. He is actually Marcus's son. Marcus is the leader of abnegation.
Marcus is the leader of abnegation, and this is his son, Tobias eating the pussy.
God damn it, we weren't there yet, but fucking, we'll go.
Tobias.
He does say Tobias.
His name is Tobias, but for some reason he has 5 dads.
They enter a room where his dad's there with a belt, and every corner they turn, there's another version of his dad, and then there's eventually 5 of them all advancing on 4. And
I'm
it's
sorry,
just
son. It's time for the almighty 3 shoe beating.
like Triss stops she stops one of them, and that stops all of them.
She punches them and they all fall together.
But there was a part of me that was morbidly hoping that we just got to see 5 versions of Vor's dad beating him at once.
Just like encircling him and hitting him
with belts. Like
so,
I shouldn't think that, because this is horrible. This is him like facing down the memories of his child abuse. But when you put like 5 of the same dude in a room,
I'm sorry, Triss. I'm named 4 because of my 4 fears: heights, confinement, shooting a woman, and 5 of my dad
beating me
with belts. He reveals that his tattoo is all the class logos because he's not just Divergent; he has autism. No,
I think it's that he wants to be all the things.
Why can't I be kind and smart and brave and the other 2 that no one cares about?
And selfless and honest.
I feel like
no one cares about kind.
I was gonna say I feel like selfless and kind are kind of the same thing.
They're kind of the same thing. This is really stupid.
They kiss, and the age difference makes this a little weird.
A little weird.
Not too weird, but a little weird.
You know, if they were actually dating in real life, the actors, that would be weird.
I'm certain they were just both doing their jobs. But yeah.
This is just doing a job.
It's the day of the final test, and they reveal that, like, before everyone goes to the final test, they have to take the serum that makes them more susceptible to, like, commands.
Yeah, to suggestion, yeah.
To suggestion. And they put her in the chair, and she talks about, if I'm too good, they'll kill me, but if I'm not good enough, I'll die. But it's like, aren't Dauntless supposed to be good at this sort of thing?
Would you not want somebody who can speed rush through their fears, like just fucking speed run their fears and not have them slow them down at any point?
How is that better than, like, how is being Divergent better at managing fear than the people who don't have fear?
And also, why would being too fast and being too good at conquering your fears mean you're Divergent? I don't get it.
I don't get it. So we're back to the test. There's birds. She hits them with a stick.
I thought she pulled the stick into the fire and like used fiery stick to stop them, but no, it's just regular stick. And then she gets her hands tied up.
She gets her hands bound and then lit on fire, and then she goes back into the water, and she's like, I can't tap the glass this time. So there's a tube, and she takes her top off and stuffs the tube with it, and that's braver than breaking the glass, I guess. And then the next challenge is being raped.
Attempted rape. Yeah, no. Surprisingly, the movie goes here because we kind of go back like
one of the fears is for sexually assaulting her.
Like she wakes up and she's like, and like Ford's like, you did it.
Let's
and then like
sex.
they kind of cuddle and then he's like forcing her onto a bed and like, yeah, it's attempted rape, and it's like she eventually kicks him in the nuts, fights him off,
and then then she wakes up again, but now her family's there, and Janine's like, all right, now you gotta shoot your parents.
I gotta say, I was not expecting the movie to go the attempted rape route. I was not expecting that out of this movie.
Yeah, it was interesting, I guess. It was just
like,
it was the first time I felt challenged a little bit, but
yeah. Like that was it. I was like, oh shit, okay.
I guess that's a perfectly understandable fear to have, and I feel like that would be a fear a woman her age would have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Oh yeah, no, I get that. Especially in a dystopian hellhole.
Especially in a dystopian hellhole where she barely has rights as it is.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, you know, I'll give you that one movie. So, that was actually pretty bold of you.
She shoots her dad and everyone celebrates. Because
and
they complete the test.
Yeah. And then everyone gets a tracking chip or something.
Everyone gets
like
a tracking chip injected in their neck, and then everyone starts acting weird. Like Christina's got a mean face now, and she's not reacting to Triss.
Turns out everyone's brainwashed, except for Eric for some reason, as we find out later.
Because Eric's smart, or something.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know why
guess
he
he's
wasn't
the
also put
commander,
under
so
a
he
chip.
doesn't need to be on the chip.
I
But
guess.
so like 4's there, and then there's a guy just wandering around confused, and then Eric shoots him in the head.
So it's explained that anyone who's not under the influence of the brainwashing is a divergent, and that's why 4's like fine and Triss is fine, and that's why they're able to move around freely.
They're good at faking it compared to confused guy.
So what you're saying is that they're masking?
This movie's driving me fucking crazy. All right.
Y'all, enjoy that one. If you've gotten this far,
hi.
Thank you.
Like and subscribe.
Also, like and subscribe.
Oh my god. You know, I think the thing that's bugging me is at least Twilight, it had the concepts of a good movie in there somewhere.
It's a straightforward enough built world of like, you know what a vampire is,
you know what a
vampire
is, you know what a werewolf is. This is about uwu heartthrobby shit, and like there's some clan stuff thrown in just to add some tension.
I don't understand it.
Just to add some tension. But this, I barely even care about fucking 4. I don't care about Triss.
And also this world just feels broken beyond repair. It feels
like it's broken beyond repair, but it doesn't feel broken in an intentional way to like have a message to it. Like you know how Westworld is broken, or like Severance is broken. Those two shows are critically acclaimed, I believe. They are broken in a way that discusses something, like how Severance is about compartmentalism, turning parts of your brain off to work, that kind of thing. And Westworld is about escapism and, like, you know, becoming someone you're not because you're trying to entertain yourself, and, like, existentialism because of that. And then, like, a robot gaining sentience. That, you know, shit like that. I don't know what the...
dystopian fiction,
I don't know what
the dystopia to be broken.
With Unraveled, which is that organ harvest thing I was talking about earlier, I imagine that's about relationships with kids and their parents, and the point of government and organ harvesting. You know? It discusses the evils of the government. I don't know what the fuck this is about.
We don't know what the point of this is.
So she holds 4's hand without anyone looking, and they are being sent to Abdignation and their city, their gray building city, to hunt down the leaders of Abdignation and kill anyone who's resisting.
They're killing Abdignation. And we started kind of feeling a little uncomfortable about the imagery we're seeing with all these kind of like gray buildings.
I replied, I feel like we're approaching a metaphor.
We're approaching something, and I'm not sure entirely how good I feel about it.
Yeah, they're killing people, and they're kind of leaning them up against the wall execution style.
They're in these blocky buildings with gray clothes on all the people that are being shot up. And it's like, I don't know if I'm too comfortable with the imagery we got here.
Everyone's wearing gray.
Yeah, exactly. The gray is what's kind of catching it for me. It's like, not sure about this imagery. Divergent.
There's a standoff because, like, you know, Eric's gonna kill someone, or Eric's gonna kill 4 because 4's pissing him off.
And it turns out 4 might not be like brainwashed.
4 might not be brainwashed, but I feel like he was going to try and kill him anyway because he doesn't like 4. That was where I was getting. And then Triss pulls a gun on him, and then someone pulls a gun on her, and it's a standoff.
Yeah, big old standoff.
And then
I think this is around where we learn, his full name, Tobias Eaton, the pussy.
Tobias Eaton.
The pussy. I'll stop.
Janine's there, and she's talking about destroying she's destroying Abdignation because Abdignation is going to destroy the system.
The faction system.
Even though destroying Abdignation would be destroying the faction system also.
Yes.
But I guess hypocrisy is a key functioning point in fascism. I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
Uh,
I guess, but it just again, this doesn't feel like the brokenness of the system is an intentional choice
they do
to
a little
say
gun. They
anything.
do a little gun point. They do a little gunfight, and Triss gets clipped in the shoulder, and they get cornered during the escape, and like they're gonna kill her, but her mom shows up, and she's a Dundles too.
Yeah, she was a beta tester for Dauntless. These noobs can't keep up with her.
Yeah, she learned how to kill monsters with the repeater and the sword, and then the game got bought by crypto shitheads, and then got canceled. Thanks.
And that's why Triss's mom dies.
And that's why
Because they
Triss's
shut down
mom
the servers.
dies. They shut down the servers for Dauntless. I had a sick ass outfit in that game.
Oh
Fuckers.
man, it was a fun game.
Bringing my conversation back 2 hours later to the fact that media preservation is fucked right now, and like
Yes.
games are getting discontinued, and then you can't get them.
Mm.
So they escape. Her mom's a Dundles. No one has ever been smart or nice at the same time.
Or brave.
Or brave. Her dad isn't there. He's like harboring refugees. The gunfight continues, and her mom and her escape, and I just started talking about how I feel like there's no fucking stakes right now besides like dying.
You don't care enough about anyone to care if they live or die. She eventually, like during the fight, Triss is begging for Will to stop shooting at them,
But
and then
Will's
she
not going to
kills
listen,
Will.
so she kills Will, and then she's upset about it, and her mom tries to comfort her, but then her mom dies. Because there's another firefight, and her mom dies. Triss is crying, and the actress is doing her best. I'm not going to hold anything against her.
Shailene Woodley is trying her damnedest, despite the fact that this script is nothing.
I hate the writing. I have no fucking qualms about Shaylee, and because I feel
Shailene
like
Woodley,
she's doing fine. Like she's doing fine. The guy,
everyone's at least putting the effort in, but it's just like it's wasted.
the fucking guy playing 4 is doing fine, even though he's clearly a 30-year-old man.
Everyone in here is doing their best with the acting. Everyone's playing their
Ashley
part
Judd
well.
was fine. Jai Courtney was fine. Fucking Ray Stevenson's fine. Zoe Kravitz was fine. Miles Teller was fine.
Everyone's fine, but it's just like you don't care.
I don't fucking care. Kate Winslet was fine. She was probably the big name for this.
Yeah,
she was Janine.
and she's doing good, but again, it's just like you can only do so much with good performances.
Good performances and barely any direction and just shit to your writing. And I don't know how much elbow grease they put into this script, because it feels like, doesn't it feel like they cut a lot?
It's like I said, this thing, we're lacking something here. There's probably like exposition missing or something, and it's just like.
And I don't know, like, if there's anything they could cut out that they could add the exposition back in to replace. I feel like there was a lot of pointless action scenes. Pointless as in it doesn't really progress anything. Like maybe the capture the flag thing, but not really.
It just feels like maybe this could have been a series instead of a movie.
Honestly, if this was like an 8-episode miniseries, I could at least say that it would give the show some time to breathe. Because you really don't even get to explore what the fucking pit's like, or the giant lunchroom, or any of the training. And then, like, suddenly Triss is competent. She's like a competent combatant. She is holding her own in a gunfights. And, like, we saw her do that once.
Yeah.
And she went from, like, couldn't even throw a fucking punch, like, 2 hours ago.
To messing everyone up. It doesn't feel natural.
And like while she's crying, you could see that people are like taking pot shots at the wall next to them and like aren't even approaching her or attempting to like detain or kill her.
No.
Like, hold on, she's crying. We gotta wait until she's done. Hold on. Hold.
Just take shots at the wall.
Hold, she's acting. Hold. So she escapes on her own. She locks herself in a door where you can really see the other side of the door. And she makes it to where her dad is. And she's like, Dad, Mom's dead, sorry. But her brother's there too, and he left Erudite.
He saw the truth when they started killing the abnegation.
And like Metal Gear Jones over here, Triss suddenly hatches a plan because when things get hard, her brain works. So her plan is lead the resistance to the Dauntless entrance, where
into headquarters.
where
Yeah.
inexplicably the net that you have to jump into is still up.
Like I think she tells somebody, yeah, there's a net down there, and tells them to jump. And I think it's Caleb who goes down first.
And I was gonna say, isn't it okay? So these guys are like,
it's part of the test.
They're doing an operation right now. Why is the net still up? Wouldn't it
why is the training net still up?
Wouldn't it be a security thing to just like get rid of the net so anyone who jumps through that entrance is just floor pizza? Like,
You'd think.
Just a fucking stain on the
part
ground.
Of a training thing, isn't it? Like that. Why would they keep it past training?
It is. There's another entrance that I imagine they have to go to that isn't the jumping entrance because that was initiation, right?
That was initiation. Like, what the fuck? Why is there still a net?
So she sneaks through. She captures and interrogates a guy, but he's like, "What are you gonna do if I don't comply? Shoot me?"
It's Miles Teller.
And then she shoots Miles Teller.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Shoot me?
And then the other guy's like, "What? Did you have to shoot him?" And he's like, "Well, he said, what are you gonna do? Shoot me?"
What are they gonna do then?
Dad gets into a gunfight and he dies. Our approval rating is in the shits right now as the erudites execute people on live TV. 4 is just chilling in a chair because he got brainwashed by Janine. And he fights Triss, then they fight. And he throws her into some stuff and the stuff falls over. And it's a little fight scene. He's part of the evil Rangers.
Yeah, a little fight scene. He's now a Psycho Ranger.
She keeps saying his personality got erased. And they open like a JPEG of a brain, and like a guy's like remote controlling him at a computer like 10 feet away.
And Janine's talking about how factions remove individuality, which is why we have an individual leading faction.
Yeah.
Or something.
And the Dauntless don't question authority, which is exactly what they do.
They conform, which is totally just how Dauntless should be.
She scrambles to grab a gun that was on the ground. She points it at 4 and then points it at herself. And 4 loves her enough to break the spell that was binding him.
Persona.
And summon her persona. And now she has Orpheus, the master of strings.
Also, great message for the young adults. If you get into a physical fight with a loved one, friend suicide to make them stop.
We're approaching a metaphor.
We're approaching a metaphor here.
So Janine is going to kill people. She's got the kill people button all lined up and ready to go. And then fucking Triss just throws a knife and it hits her hand.
An enemy cannot push a button if you disable his hand. Just like Colonel Zim taught us.
Just like Colonel Zim.
fucking gotta get in that Starship Troopers reference.
Throws a guy into the good boy juice. Christina is still brainwashed, so Triss grabs the brainwashing gun and brainwashes Janine.
Yeah, Janine's refusing. She pulled her a knife for it. It's like, what are you gonna do, stab me? But surprisingly, Triss did not stab her.
It's like, I'm not very it's like, and Janine's like, that wasn't very dauntless of you, Triss. And she's like, I'm divergent.
We start cheering like idiots.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, because as soon as she starts saying that's not very divergent of you, I go like, oh, please let her say it. And she's like, I'm not dauntless. I'm divergent.
I'm autistic.
I'm autistic.
Stab.
She shoots her up with the brainwash juice and makes her turn off the program.
It only works for like 5 seconds, by the way.
Yeah. And she's like, no.
And then I question, is the brainwash juice a program or a chemical? Because it worked on a verbal command.
It did, yeah.
If only we
I
had a
think
functioning court system.
it's like there's brainwash use, and then they add the tracking chip nanomachines that allow you to remote control people.
So
I
Janine tries to
think
pull a fast one
Sergeant Sim, I fucked up.
after her brainwash gets worn off and she gets knocked out. So the resistance is going to get on the train and escape Chicago together, including Tobias and his dad, who's like, "Wait, you need your son, take me
Tobias,
with you. I
please,
gotta hit you
son,
with a
thank
I
you.
gotta hit you with a belt."
And I'm over here just being like, what if Ford just grabs, like, instead of grabbing his dad's hand, he grabs his dad's belt and just whacks at him from outside
But
the train.
he grabs his dad and throws him on the train, and it's like, "It's okay. You can beat my ass later, Dad." Good thing this train never stops.
Also, just want to note, in continuing the great lessons for young adult readers or viewers,
Always forgive your
brainwash the
abuse.
bad guy to make them do what you want.
Brainwash the bad guy to get them to do what you want, and forgive your abusers.
Oh yeah, that too. Wonderful.
It don't stop.
This train just gonna keep on a rolling.
So
Literally.
Four and Triss hug, and she's like, "My parents died," and she's
I
like,
don't
"It's
have
okay.
a family or a home or a faction. I don't even know who I am.
What about your brother? What about him?"
And Forrest's like, I know who you are. You're Beatrice Pryor.
You're
And
Beatrice
I'm Tobias
Pryor,
eating the pussy.
and I'm Tobias eating to pussy. And then Ellie Goulding starts singing, and that's the movie.
And that's the movie. Credits. No post-credit
No
scene.
post-credit scene. It's like 20 minutes of credits.
Oh my god.
Well, what'd you think?
That sucked.
It kind of sucked, didn't it? And it was
I
like
think
they had the money to make it like competent in terms of like how it's shot and setted and filmed, and they had nothing else.
you can't budget good writing, I guess, or you can't.
Look, man,
No amount of money will make good writing happen.
I feel like sometimes businesses are just about throwing money in a giant pit and then hoping that more money comes out of the pit later. But most of the time, it's just throwing money into a giant pit. The best I could hope for is all the lead actors getting paid well.
Getting paid well and not having their careers completely tanked.
I assume because they're pretty rookie like actors at the time, Shailene Woodley and Theo James probably didn't get paid well.
Well, okay. I think they weren't rookie actors at that point. Shailene Woodley had been acting since 1999, so
Oh, she was like a child actor?
yeah, probably like a child actor. Probably worked TV for a
Let me
while.
see her filmography. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she started out. She was mostly TV at the time. And
She did. Okay, she did a couple films before that. She was in The Descendants.
oh, not
She,
that Descendants.
she
But...
was in The O.C. as Caitlin Cooper.
Okay, so she had some things going.
She was in My Name Is Earl and CSI New York.
Yeah, episode stuff. Yeah,
But she was
Secret Life of the American Teenager.
Yeah,
oh, I see. She was.
I think she was one of the leads in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was the lead, I believe.
She was the lead. Okay, so this was her big jump to film, and it didn't go well.
Didn't go well. I just hope she got paid good enough to like not.
You got paid good, and
not
she's
think about
still
this,
acting. So.
Not think about this movie ever again.
Yeah, hopefully it didn't stain anyone's careers too intensely.
Theo James, become Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, just go be Jeff Goldblum.
Go, like, ask him to do like a biopic, and then just pretend you're Jeff Goldblum.
One of the thoughts I had pretty much throughout watching this movie is, if you're doing this whole split everyone into faction things, why is it based on personality traits and not like physical traits, like, or something like that? Like, why not like you have one faction that's the strong and the smart?
I was gonna say, isn't that just like eugenics?
Yes, but let's be honest, like, fascism and eugenics aren't exactly like divorced here.
Well, I guess
concept.
I guess physical traits are something you can kind of jigger with eugenics, but personalities are such an X factor in terms of like
There's so much
your kid.
that
There's
it's
no
just,
guarantee that your kid's gonna be like you, I guess is the thing.
and also the kind of accidental blending of like where you've got the kind and the selfless, and
Yeah,
then you
they
just like
accidentally fudged kind and selfless into two different factions, and I
when they
feel
really
like,
didn't need
and I
to.
feel like, I feel like intelligence and candor could also do that a little bit. Like you could
Yeah,
blend them a
honesty
little
and
bit,
intelligence.
and no one cares that you're a farmer.
No one cares you're a farmer. I don't even. Amity just seems to exist, but they don't.
Not really.
You could have just merged them into abnegation, and you would have lost nothing. You could have probably put Candor and erudite together, lost nothing. Free groups,
If there were
because
three,
those are the
if
only
there were
three that
three
matters.
factions, I feel like at least there'd be like a triangle kind of thing where each one's distinct, but not really.
Yeah, because then you have sort of like it's kind of wisdom, power, and courage, if you will. The
Triforce.
Triforce.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Final thoughts or
I don't know if these are final thoughts. I just don't think this. I just don't think this concept has legs. And
concept just
I feel like the only way that this could have been good in like the original Veronica Roth book is either A, this system is much more fleshed out in her book, or B, she quickly abandons it and then does something else. She abandons it,
most
and
likely,
then it's
yeah.
just sort of like generic teen uprising book, you know?
Hmm.
I feel like that's the only way you could do
here's
it.
hoping.
I guess we gotta watch the second movie.
we gotta eventually watch the second movie.
There ain't no
at
fourth
some
one.
point.
There ain't no fourth one. It
Yeah.
got canceled.
I would say look at the soundtrack, but that's mostly probably going to be like original stuff and
It's
also
like
one Ellie
Junkie
Goulding
XL
song.
background music and Junkie XL, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. There are weirdly there are a few like there's "Find You" by Zed, "Beating Heart" by Ellie Goulding, "Fight for You" by PMEA featuring Chance the Rapper, "Hanging On" I See Monsters remix by Ellie Goulding. "I Won't Let You Go" by Snow Patrol.
Snow Patrol.
Snow Patrol? What the fuck? They got a paycheck?
They were on
Run Boy Run by Woodkid.
Oh yeah.
No, wait.
I was gonna say Woodkid was also in fucking Death Stranding.
Yeah. Backwards by Tame Impala and Kendrick Lamar.
In this movie?
Okay, this is an actual soundtrack. What the fuck?
None of these played in the movie.
I Need You by M83.
Is this just like a vibe soundtrack?
This is the official the original motion picture soundtrack. I thought we were gonna.
I didn't know Kevin Parker worked with Kendrick Lamar.
I didn't. Yeah, apparently. In Distress by A$AP Rocky featuring Geffelstein.
What is this? We gotta listen to the soundtrack.
Lost and Found Otis's remix by
Odessa remix, I think.
Odessa remix by Pretty Lights. Stranger by Skrillex with Kilogram and Sam Do.
What the fuck?
Dream Machines by Big Deal and Dead in the Water by Ellie Goulding. Plus some deluxe songs. I Love You by Woodkid. Waiting Game by Bangs and My Blood by Ellie Goulding. What the hell?
What? None of these songs showed up. What the fuck are you talking about?
I think only Dead in the Water showed up at the end.
That was the ending. Then Dow Smith. Oh, it's just a DJ. Okay.
What in the fuck? What? Where were all these songs? This movie would be a lot more enjoyable if we heard Kendrick on it.
I would say watch this if it had potential, but I don't think it has potential, and I don't think you should watch this.
I think you'd be better off watching Hunger Games or something.
Go watch Hunger Games. Go watch the fucking Maze Runner.
Go watch Maze Runner.
Go watch Maze Runner. This is stupid.
This sucked.
I didn't even watch Maze Runner, and I think it's more interesting than whatever the fuck this is.
We're probably going to have to watch Maze Runner at some point.
We are watching Maze Runner. We also might watch Percy Jackson. I don't know.
Like the original movies.
Or the new one with Edge.
Oh, the new one with Edge. Maybe.
Edge is in that one.
He is Ares, the god of war.
He is Ares, the god of war, and he is Cope. He is Cope now.
He is Cope.
Well, you could watch us on our YouTube at These Hot Idiots. You could search for it on YouTube. I don't know how you got here if you didn't search for it in the first place. Please subscribe.
You're just looking for Divergent content.
Subscribe, and if you want to talk about the show, that'd be cool. I would like to open a Discord for These Hot Idiots at some point and just have people making memes and shit, but we don't got enough people to do that right now.
We need a good following.
Yeah, we do. We don't deserve it, but it would be cool if we got one.
It would be nice.
Yeah. I don't want to get delusions of grandeur.
No. We're very grateful to anyone who does actually stop by and watch.
Someone called me
and sit
funny.
through our nonsense.
That was interesting.
That was yeah. Someone called us funny on a recent video we did.
It was not related to the podcast though. It was related to some video game we were playing.
Yeah. You can also find us on Tumblr, Mega Fighter Free for Free, and Ashe Nightshade. You can also find us on Blue Sky, at Mega Fighter Free and at Ryshark. Though Ash will probably trying to make a more safe for work Blue Sky that you can follow instead.
You know, can you stop saying that every time?
I probably should. Make a different account I can plug then.
I don't feel like making an account. Unless you want to make an account, why can't you make an account? Why do I have to record and edit and run the socials?
I list my socials as well.
But every time you say my social, it's like, and he posts porn. And it's like...
I'm just trying to warn them in advance.
Yeah, but you don't have to do that. No one's following my fucking Blue Sky anyway.
Everyone go follow Ash on Blue Sky at Ryshark.
Retweet his porn. I don't know.
and then at me whenever he posts porn.
Asshole.
I like how this is what's getting me the asshole designation, not the fact that I posted 5 more cursed pictures in the Discord while you weren't looking.
Wait, you did? Oh
Yes.
Oh my god.
All right, that should do it for These Hot Idiots. What do we say to end this episode?
I am Divergent.
Yeah.
I have
Divergent.
I have depression.
I am autistic.
I am ADHD. Oh, I need migraine pills. Good night.